Добрый день.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues, dear guests. It is the 23rd of November 2021. It is 3 p.m. Moscow time. We're beginning this session for the defense of the dissertation by Evgenia Prokopjeva. The dissertation is submitted in conformity with the requirements for the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences. The topic of the dissertation is regional insurance market and its impact on the socio-economic development of the region. Under the order issued by the Academic Secretary of St. Petersburg State University, this Dissertation Council has been established. And under the relevant order issued by the Academic Secretary of St. Petersburg State University, I have been appointed the chairperson of the Dissertation Council. I'm Professor Pisarenko, and I have been appointed the chairperson of the Dissertation Council. The other members of the Dissertation Council have been appointed by the same order. They are Professor Viktor Ivanov, St. Petersburg State University, Doctor of Economical Sciences. Some members of the Dissertation Council are participating in this session remotely. They are Professor Alexander Tsyganov, Doctor of Economic Sciences, Professor of the Financial University. Professor Tsyganov, can you hear us and see us? Dear colleagues, good afternoon. I can hear you and see you. Thank you. Professor Svetlana Yanova, Doctor of Economic Sciences, St. Petersburg State Economic University. Professor Yanova, can you hear us and see us? Yes, dear colleagues, I can hear you and I can see you, and I am ready to start the deliberations. Professor Svetlana Saksonova, Professor of the University of Latvia. Professor Saksonova, can you hear us and see us? Yes, good afternoon, and I can hear you and see you. Professor Sergei Belozerov, Doctor of Economic Sciences, St. Petersburg State University, is not participating for a good reason. The academic degree seeker, Evgenia Prokopjeva, is here. The scientific consultant, Doctor of Economic Sciences, Professor of St. Petersburg State University, Galina Chernova, is also attending the session of the Dissertation Council. I would like to ask the members of the Dissertation Council who are attending this session via Zoom, please switch off your microphones. Please make sure that your microphone is switched on when you are given the floor. This session of the Dissertation Council is being recorded and broadcast on the official website of St. Petersburg State University, and it is also being interpreted into English. You can ask your questions and make comments about the dissertation using the email address that you can find on the official webpage. The questions are supposed to be relevant to the contents of the dissertation or to the presentation. This will allow you to participate in the academic discussion. The technical personnel will refer the questions to me, and I will read them out during the discussion. I would like to emphasize that the questions are supposed to be relevant to the contents of the dissertation. The authors of the questions are to write down their name, position, and workplace. The questions that are not relevant to the contents of the dissertation or anonymous questions will not be read out. Under the order on the procedure of granting academic degrees at St. Petersburg State University, issued by St. Petersburg State University, this session of the Dissertation Council is duly constituted, provided at least 2/3 of the members of the Dissertation Council are present. The total number is not to be fewer than 4 people. This Dissertation Council consists of 6 people, 5 of which are present, including 3 people who are attending the session remotely. Therefore, we have a quorum. I would like to ask the representative of the Department for Dissertation Council Management to make an attendance list. The agenda is as follows. Number 1. The chairperson's presentation about the documents submitted by the academic degree seeker and their conformity with the requirements, about 5 minutes. The academic degree seeker's presentation providing an overview and findings of the research, about 20 minutes. Questions to the degree seeker regarding the presentation. Replies to the questions. Next, reports on the dissertation, or rather, reading out the external reports, and then the council members will be taking the floor in turns in order to read out their reports on the dissertation. Next, the chairperson's report on the dissertation, about 10 minutes. The academic degree seeker's comments about the reports on the dissertation and replies to the questions. Open discussion. The floor will be given to the members of the audience. They can give a brief account of their ideas or ask questions about the research. No more than 5 minutes per person. However, it is necessary to fill in the registration form and give their full name before the talk. Then the chairperson will read out the questions received via email. Please note that questions which take more than 2 minutes to read will not be read out. Next, presentation of the scientific consultant. Deliberations of the members of the Dissertation Council before the open balloting on conferring or not conferring the academic degree. The discussion of the results of the defense is not broadcast. Open balloting, vote counting and recording the results in the protocol. Making a decision on whether to confer or not to confer the academic degree and the academic degree seeker's closing speech. Dear colleagues, do you have any questions or objections about the agenda? Since there are no objections, I would like to proceed with the agenda. Please leave your telephones set on silent mode. The council members participating in this session remotely are advised not to switch off their mobile phones so that we can contact you in case of a technical failure. So I would like to proceed with the agenda. The dissertation is submitted in conformity with the requirements for the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences. The specialization is 080010 Finance, Money, Circulation and Credit. The dissertation was approved for the defense by the relevant order of the Academic Secretary of St. Petersburg State University. Evgenia Prokopjeva completed her dissertation in Dissertation Technical University. The research advisor is a Doctor of Economic Sciences, Professor of St. Petersburg State University, Professor Galina Chernova. The academic degree seeker has published a number of research papers. She has published 36 research papers. 26 research papers have been published in peer-reviewed journals recommended by the Ministry of Education and Science, and 5 research papers have been published in the journals listed in the Scopus and Web of Science. All the documents submitted by the academic degree seeker comply with the requirements, and they are kept in the dossier. The representative of the Department for Dissertation Council Management has the copies of the documents. Before giving the floor to the degree seeker, I would like to ask the members of the Dissertation Council if they have any questions to the academic degree seeker, or if it is necessary to read out the list of documents. So, there are no questions. Now I would like to give the floor to the academic degree seeker. No more than 20 minutes. The floor is yours. Good afternoon, dear members of the Dissertation Council. Good afternoon, dear guests. The topic of my dissertation is regional insurance market and its impact on the socio-economic development of the region. The hypothesis of the research is as follows. Social and economic functioning of any region is influenced by different risks, and insurance is the institution which provides financial security. Therefore, by developing insurance and developing different types of insurance in the region, the regional insurance market might have a positive impact on the development of the region, as well as on the development of the national insurance market. In order to check this hypothesis, we have proposed the following concept. The regional insurance market may have a positive impact on the regional and national insurance market, but under specific conditions. The regional insurance market is influenced by the insurance market of the Russian Federation and of the socio-economic development of a specific region, and vice versa. Therefore, it is important to identify different incentives and deterrents that provide for the effective social and economic development of the region and of the national insurance market. The topic of the dissertation is relevant in many ways. The development of the insurance market is not equal in Russia, and it is connected with the differentiation of socio-economic development of different regions. Therefore, the development of the regional insurance market will provide effective development of the region. So I believe it is necessary to develop a model and specific guidelines which will allow the Russian, or rather the regional insurance market, to boost economic and socio-economic development of the region. The results are as follows. Number one, I have developed a multi-stage layout which will allow us to show the dependence of the insurance market on the socio-economic development of the region, and vice versa, the impact of the socio-economic development of the region on the regional insurance market. And the impact can be either positive or act as a deterrent, or rather act as something that promotes development and negative or acts as a deterrent. Here I would like to emphasize that the impact that the regional insurance market has is influenced by different factors and different processes of decision making. You can see the algorithm on this slide. It includes the identification of different influencing factors, and we grouped these two factors into two categories: deterrence and incentives. Some of these factors are those which can be controlled, and some factors are not controlled by any forces. Next, I have proposed a new typology of the regional districts. This typology will allow us to identify the impact of the regional insurance market on the socio-economic development of the region. This is important because we suppose that regional insurance market is closely connected with the socio-economic development of the region. On this slide you can see the typology that I have proposed. Here you can also see the types of the regions that I have identified. And here we can identify different regional factors that can have an impact on the socio-economic development of the region. The next research outcome is as follows. I have identified two groups of factors which have an impact on the regional insurance market. They are incentives and deterrents. This information will allow us to make decisions accordingly, and this will allow us to make decisions which promote incentives instead of promoting deterrence. On this slide you can see an aggregated table of different factors. These include national factors and factors which are specific for regions. So I have identified a group of factors and I have developed a number of mathematical models. One of them is a correlational model which shows the correlation between the socio-economic development and the regional insurance market. And I used the case of the Republic of Khakassia and also conducted a temporal analysis. The regional insurance market included different types of premiums, such as life insurance, personal insurance, car insurance, and real estate insurance. This model allowed us to identify different factors that have an impact on the socio-economic development of the region. I developed the regression equations which reflect the situation. These equations can be used for any region of the Russian Federation and specifically for the Republic of Khakassia. The use of these equations allow us to assess the insurance volume and the link between the socio-economic development and the volume of the insurance market. And you can see the equation itself in the handout materials. I also developed the model of the regional insurance portfolio for different regions. This model allows us to predict the risks and to protect the region from different risks. And as a result, we will see a boost of the social and economic development of the region. And you can see more detailed information in the handouts that I have provided. You can also see there a list of risks and types of insurance in terms of the Republic of Khakassia. There's also a ranking model which allows us to assess the regions and the insurance risks. The use of this model allows us to identify the regions where the regional insurance market is lower than the socio-economic development of the region. Therefore, the issue of the development of the regional insurance market is so relevant for such regions. And you can see more specific information in the handout materials. I have also developed a ranking model which is based on the index assessment of the efficiency of insurance markets. This model allows us to assess how the target region is close to the region with the highest level of the socioeconomic development and regional insurance market. This model also allows us to compare and assess different indices and assess socioeconomic development of the region and the regional insurance market. This is a more detailed model, specific for different regions of the Russian Federation. So I would like to say that the efficiency of a regional insurance market is important for the mathematical models that I have developed. The next research outcome is as follows. I have developed a regional development program, namely the program for the development of the regional insurance market and for the increase of its efficiency. This program includes a number of steps. Development of the priority types of insurance for the region, making pricing more efficient when it comes to voluntary insurance, increasing the quality of the insurance services, and so on. The next research outcome is as follows. I have developed a two-level model for the regulation of the insurance market in the Russian Federation. The model includes a two-step approach, namely the regulation on the federal and on the regional levels. On this slide you can see the algorithm of this model. It's a layout. The essential aspects should be regulated at the federal level, and the activities of the regionals and different other issues are delegated to the municipal authorities. The next research outcome is as follows. I have assessed the socio-economic development of the region depending on the regional indicators. And this model includes two scenarios. One includes the development program and the other one does not include the development program for the regional insurance market. Here you can see the aggregated table. Therefore, I have identified the following research outcomes. My research has confirmed the hypothesis that effective development of the regional insurance market will have a positive impact on the development of the regional social and economic aspect. I have identified deterrents and incentives, and I have confirmed the idea that the development of the regional insurance market has an impact on the regional socio-economic aspect as well as on the national system of insurance. I have also assessed and evaluated the effective influence of the regional insurance market on the social area and the economy of the regions. Here you can see the most important factors. Namely, I have provided the relevant classification. I have talked about the program of the development of the Russian insurance market, and also I have used a number of mathematical regions in order to provide, or rather I have used a number of mathematical models in order to provide credible results. The development of the Russian insurance market will encourage the effective development of the insurance market in Russia. For example, ranking models allow us to compare the development of the regional insurance market with the development, or rather with the economic development of the region. Moreover, it is important to talk about the two-level model of regulating insurance market. That would be all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there any questions to the degree seeker about the presentation or about the dissertation? If there are any questions, you can ask them, but no more than 2 minutes per question. I would like to start because I'm closer to the academic degree seeker. I have a couple of questions. You have analyzed the regional insurance market of Khakassia in terms of the financial security and in terms of the production development. In your opinion, what important changes are happening right now? How does it influence on the production sector of the Republic of Khakassia? Thank you very much for your questions. The production sector of Khakassia is weakly diversified. It is prevailed by the oil and gas, energy sector and the state sector, and the influence of the regional insurance market on the production sector is quite low, is quite weak. I cannot say I have seen any influence here. On the other hand, the regional insurance market is an important fact, and it is able to have an impact on the production sector. Because major companies, including production companies, require investment, and they also need protection from different types of risks, including medical risks, environmental risks, and different other types of risks. So I believe that we need insurance here, however, it is not efficient at the moment. Thank you very much. I have another question. On page 5, you write a list of factors that have an impact on the regional insurance market. You talk about deterrence and incentives. Please have a look at this page. And I find something surprising. The decreased participation of banks and possible dependence of the insurers on the credit market is regarded as an incentive here. Could you please provide rationale for this opinion? Please make a comment here. Thank you very much for this interesting question. There are different trends in this area. On the one hand, we see integration and convergence, namely combined operations between banks and insurance. On the other hand, we see a reverse trend here as well. I need a second to collect my thoughts. On the one hand, banks create their own insurance companies, and the question is how the situation is going to develop. Now the trend is quite diverse, and in my research I also studied the cooperation between banks and insurance, and the cooperation can be both positive and negative. Sometimes companies depend, or insurance companies depend on banks, and this is a negative cooperation, because in this case banks act as mediators and they take a commission. But in general, we also see that the insurance companies are trying to isolate themselves from banking operations. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues who are attending the session of the Dissertation Council remotely, do you have any questions? I have 2 questions in my report, and I will ask them when I'm reading my report. Could you please repeat what you have just said? I have 2 questions in my report, and I do not have any additional questions at the moment. Thank you. Are there any other questions to the academic degree seeker? I would like to ask a question. I have 2 questions. The first question is about the scientific relevance. What are the specific features of your concept? There are different concepts for the development of the regional insurance market. What are the specific features of your concept? Thank you very much for your question. I believe the concept is important for theoretical foundations. My research outcomes prove the hypothesis that the regional insurance market has an impact on the economy of the region. The research outcomes can be used for the development of the regional and national insurance programs. I have also provided guidelines which take into account international practices, and I believe these guidelines can also be used for reforming the insurance market in Russia. I have also identified or developed a typology of the regions. This typology is important to identify risks and different factors of influence. Moreover, I have developed new methods for studying the regional insurance market and insurance market in general. I have another question. In your research paper, you talk about the investment ability. Could you please clarify here? Could you please make comments? I would like to ask you what you mean when you talk about investment potential, how you define it. I would like to say that the investment potential is closely connected with insurance potential. Insurance potential, however, is different because investment potential includes insurance resources, insurance premiums that can be and should be effectively invested. Investment potential is an interesting topic for me, and I have written a number of papers on this topic. And here we see different types of factors which have an impact on the investment potential. And I would like to say that the investment potential is influenced by the insurance market and by the regional economy as well. Regional policies and federal policies have an impact on the investment potential because investment can be sent to specific sectors of the region. But to this end, they need long-term contracts and resources. Therefore, it is necessary to provide incentives for companies and individuals to participate in the insurance market. Thank you very much. I don't have any questions. Are there any other questions to the degree seeker? Do you mean if I have any extra questions about the presentation? Yes, I have a question. I would like to ask her which school of thought she supports when it comes to insurance, and what is the academic foundation, or what are the main research papers that you draw upon. I draw upon the works of Russian scholars. I draw upon the works of St. Petersburg State University and Moscow University, so I support both St. Petersburg School of Thought and Moscow School of Thought, and I have read the papers written by the members of the Dissertation Council. I also draw upon foreign scholars. I would like to say that I have read a number of interesting papers written by Chinese scholars. Russia is a vast country, and it is subdivided into many regions. Therefore, I found it necessary to draw upon lots of Russian papers. When it comes to foreign scholars, they don't write so much about what I need for my research. Sometimes it is difficult to adjust for the works of foreign scholars on the Russian market. However, I find the works by Chinese scholars very interesting, because I was able to adjust the ideas to Russia. However, when it comes to European scholars, they have accumulated a vast experience in regulating the insurance market. But which school of thought is closer to you? I would like to say that it's insurance as an institution of financial market. Thank you very much. I also have a question. I have a lot of questions in my report, but I would like to ask you about your presentation. You have mentioned that you have taken into account the practices of countries with a large territory. Which countries? The United States, the Argentina, China, Canada. I can't say that these are countries with an extremely large territory, but they have a very interesting experience when it comes to insurance regulating. In the United States, the model is somehow deregulated. Each state defines its policy. This was just to make some clarifications about the presentation. So I believe we should move on with our agenda. Now I would like to ask the members of the Dissertation Council to read out their reports. And I will also be reading out the external reports. I would like to say that the degree seeker can answer the questions after each report or at the end. I suggest that the degree seeker provides the answers to the questions in the external reports at the end, and I would like to ask you to answer the questions after each report is read out. Now I would like to provide brief information about the external reports. So we have received 6 external reports. Professor Veronika Vincina, she writes about the relevance of the dissertation. She also talks about the scientific novelty, and there are no questions or objections in the dissertation. The next report is from Professor Mashova. The report emphasizes the relevance of the dissertation. The report also writes about the contribution to the academic discourse. There is a critical remark in the dissertation. The criteria for developing the typology of the regions of Russia is not quite clear. The next report is from Professor Bushueva. The report emphasizes the relevance of the research. It also states that the research outcomes have practical significance and scientific novelty and can be useful for developing regional and national economic policies. The report states that the dissertation is well written and logically written. There are no critical remarks in this report. The next report is from Professor Belinskaya. The report states that the dissertation is relevant. The report also emphasizes that the theoretical framework of the dissertation is relevant and is novel. The report also provides a list of positive aspects of the dissertation. However, the report also has some critical remarks. Why did you choose Khakassia as the main region for development, or rather the main region for studying? Do you think that the situation in Khakassia is typical? And there's also a suggestion that the academic degree seeker should continue her research using other regions of Russia. So these are the critical remarks of this report. The next report is from Professor Trinchuk. So Professor Trinchuk states that the dissertation is relevant. The insurance market is rapidly developing, therefore this dissertation makes an important contribution. The overall objective of the dissertation is also relevant. The dissertation also expands the theoretical framework relevant for the economic science. The dissertation also provides a number of tools which can be used in developing guidelines for the development programs. The report also emphasizes that the research outcomes are credible. However, the report also has some critical remarks. The dissertation provides a comparative analysis. However, sometimes that the data you compare refer to different time periods. The next report is from Professor Panikarova. So the report is as follows. Professor Panikarova states that the research is relevant. Russian insurance companies are sometimes limited in their activities. Moreover, individuals do not have incentives to cooperate with insurance companies. The main research findings are credible and relevant and make an important contribution to scientific discourse. The author of the dissertation provides rationale for further development of the insurance market in Russia. However, the model for regulating the insurance market seems objectionable. What are the advantages of the two-level model that you propose? So I have read out the external reports. Now I would like to give the floor to the academic degree seeker. Please answer the questions. Professor Talmashova asks about the criteria for the typology of the regions. I have studied different typologies and I have developed my own typology, and I have based it on different important factors. So they are the structure of the economy, mono-industry or multi-industry economy in the region. This type of economy has an impact on the insurance market and on the insurance risks. So the criteria were chosen so that they can have an impact on the insurance market. The next report was from Professor Belinskaya. She asks why I chose the Republic of Khakassia as the case study. I chose the Siberian Federal District as a case study, and I focused on the Republic of Khakassia. I live in that region. That's why it was important for me to study this region, but there are also some objective reasons. The insurance market in Khakassia is similar to insurance markets in other Siberian regions. These regions are similar because they have similar geographical factors. They have similar per capita income, and they have similar industries. She also asked about how typical the problems are. The problems of the insurance market are similar in different areas of Russia. They are the disproportion when it comes to the insurance market, low competitiveness, low demand for voluntary insurance, low level of insurance investment. She also asked about the pricing and the government regulation of the pricing. I believe that this is an objectionable idea. However, I propose government control of the pricing as a temporary measure. These were the practices common in Europe in 1980s. Some aspects of the pricing were regulated and were limited in Europe because at the moment we do not see any transparency in the insurance area. Therefore, I suggest this area as this measure as a temporal measure. The next report was from Professor Trinchuk. He asked me about the comparison of different data. The research paper contains a lot of statistical data. Sometimes this data is updated not equally. Sometimes there's a big lag between the up-to-date data and the data that I have. Therefore, sometimes compared different time periods, but I compared different time periods when this comparison did not have an impact on the overall outcome, or on the overall research outcome. Thank you very much. Now I will ask the members of the Dissertation Council to read out their reports. All the reports are published on the official website of St. Petersburg State University. Therefore, I suggest that you focus on the main ideas, on the questions and critical remarks. Do you agree? Okay, I would like to proceed with the agenda. So I give the floor to Professor Viktor Ivanov. Thank you very much. So you have asked me to focus on one of the most important aspects. The topic of the dissertation is relevant because there's a need for the overall assessment and for the overall development of the theoretical framework for studying regional insurance markets. I believe that the main research outcomes are credible and valid. The dissertation includes an in-depth analysis of theoretical papers and legislative acts. the degree seeker also uses different research methods. She draws upon the fundamental theoretical framework and on different resources. She uses a lot of empirical data, including statistical data. The research outcomes of the dissertation, or the research findings of the dissertation, are valid and credible, and she uses only credible resources for her dissertation. I would like to say that she uses statistical analysis and mathematical analysis very effectively. And the use of mathematical methods and statistical methods allow her to make complete and credible research. The hypothesis is that under specific influences, the regional insurance market can have a positive impact on the regional development. And I would like to say that the degree seeker identifies the major risks and the ways to avoid these risks using insurance. She identifies regional risks which are common for the production sector. The academic degree seeker has identified the risks which are closely connected with the production sector. The academic degree seeker has also substantiated the necessity for the regional insurance markets, or rather for the regional insurance companies, to act on the regional market. The academic degree seeker has developed a mathematical model using the Republic of Khakassia as a case study. She has identified the main types of insurance which are necessary for the further development of the Republic of Khakassia. She has also identified a number of priorities which are instrumental for the regional development. The academic degree seeker has published a number of research papers in Russian and in foreign academic journals, including journals indexed in the Web of Science and Scopus. She has also made a number of presentations at academic conferences. Now a few words about the novelty of the research. The dissertation is well structured. The research findings comply with the overall goal and objectives of the dissertation. She uses a wide range of scientific methods for her research, and the dissertation also provides a comprehensive overview of the insurance market and of the issues connected with the insurance market. Now a few words about the theoretical novelty. I believe that the dissertation provides an important scientific framework The most important research outcomes are as follows. She has substantiated the idea that the regional development and regional insurance market are connected. She has developed a typology of regions in terms of the development of the regional insurance market. The academic degree seeker has focused on the ranking of regional risks. She has also developed a method of index assessment of regional insurance markets. And two aspects I would like to focus on. She has substantiated a two-level model of the insurance market regulation. And she has also substantiated a concept for the development of the regional insurance market. I would like to emphasize that the dissertation expands the tools that can be used to assess the influence of the regional insurance market on the regional development. Now I would like to ask her a few questions. On page 46, you describe the insurance market. You identify it as a set of insurers and insurance mediators. I believe that this approach is not quite adequate. On page 48, you state that the main provider of investment resources is individuals. I believe that you need statistical data to prove this idea. On page 91, you talk about the financial potential of an insurance company, and you focus on the resources which provide financial security. I suppose that this approach is too narrow, as it does not allow us to use different indicators to assess the financial security of the company. In Formula 3.1, you use such indicator as the financial performance. I would like you to clarify which financial performance indicator you use in this formula. And the next critical remark. The academic degree seeker proposes to introduce some tax reliefs, some tax concessions, in order to provide incentives for real estate insurance, and I believe that you need to provide rationale for this idea. However, I would like to say that the critical remarks do not change the overall positive assessment of the dissertation. I believe that the topic of the dissertation is relevant and makes an important contribution to science and to practice. The dissertation however, I would like to say complies with the requirements for the scientific specialty reference, namely scientific specialty 080010 Finance, Money, Circulation and Credit, and in generation by Evgenia Prokopjeva complies with the major requirements set forth in the relevant order issued by St. Petersburg State University. And the academic degree seeker can be awarded the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences, Scientific Specialty 080010 Finance, Money, Circulation and Credit. The dissertation is compliant with Section 11 of the above-mentioned order. So I have signed this report. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your report. I agree with the first critical remark. My definition of the insurance market, or rather retail insurance market, is quite narrow. In this context, I emphasized the actors of the insurance market. Your next remark was about the main provider of investment resources. I would like to open a presentation in order to provide some rationale here. Can I ask the technical specialist to help me? Unfortunately, I had some technical issues. Here you can see deposits by individuals. The deposits made by companies, and you see that there's a big lag here between the dark blue bar and the light blue bar. So I believe that the majority of resources are those provided by individuals. Therefore, it is important to provide incentives for individuals and to increase their financial awareness. And this structure has been relevant for quite some time. The next critical remark was about the financial potential. I agree with the critical remark. Financial potential includes the resources and also the potential resources. The next critical remark was about the indicator, namely the financial performance indicator. Here I mean such a financial indicator as the final indicator, or namely the final the financial results, the end financial results, and I took this financial indicator from the balance sheets. I would like to say that I agree with the last critical remark. It was about the tax benefits. I made these recommendations because some other countries use such practices. Thank you. Are you satisfied with the results, or are you satisfied with the answers? I'm looking at this slide. It states both the volume of credit institutions and insurance companies. So I would like to emphasize that over the past 2 years, the structure could be a little bit different, because we shouldn't forget about different funds. For example, about the Unit Investment Trust. I give the floor to Professor Saxonova. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I would like to be brief here, and my report is posted on the official website. I would like to say that the dissertation is well structured. It contains practical and theoretical significance. I believe that the dissertation is relevant because it deals with insurance markets, with regional insurance markets, and its connection with the regional development and Russian insurance market. The research deals with the regional insurance market. She also analyzes the overall practices which are used in the area. The research findings, I believe, are credible because the dissertation draws upon lots of theoretical papers. The dissertation also contains mathematical models and statistical data. She also refers to different regulations and legislative acts. The dissertation focuses on the role of the regional insurance market in the regional development. I have read the dissertation very attentively, and after reading this dissertation, I can say that the academic degree seeker has reached her goal. I would like to say that some of the research findings are really important and essential. They are: the academic degree seeker writes about the regulation of the insurance market. She has studied insurance market regulation in different countries. She has also studied the legal aspect of insurance market regulation. The academic degree seeker has made a difference between insurance market regulation and insurance surveillance. She emphasizes that the Russian law deals with insurance surveillance, which means more stringent measures and more limitations. The academic degree seeker has studied practices employed in different countries. She has used the data provided by different countries, by former socialist countries, by Asian countries, and different other countries. And she has provided an aggregated table. She has also identified a number of issues: antitrust regulation, absence of government support, and some others. I would like also to say that she proposes a two-level regulation model. And this model accumulates different ideas. And this model is very important. She emphasizes that Russia has many districts, and it is characterized by different geographical and economic conditions. And I agree with the academic degree seeker that the model reflects the overall situation on the insurance market. It reflects the impact of the regional insurance market on the regional economy, and it also reflects the idea that the regional insurance market is both part of the Russian insurance market and of the Russian economy. She therefore proposes a very interesting model, and she uses the Republic of Khakassia as a case study. I also believe that she was able to describe the mechanism which ensures the influence of the regional insurance market on the regional development. For example, in regions with the developed production sector, there is a connection between the production indicators and the insurance market. In some other region, the environmental indicators are more important. Now, I would like to say that the Regional Insurance Market Development Program presented in the dissertation is also very important. These guidelines include a number of measures which promote further development of the regional insurance market. The program also includes the measures which has to be undertaken to promote further regional development, and it also contains a specific schedule. Here, the academic degree seeker proposes a comprehensive approach, and this makes it possible for this program to be feasible and to be implemented. As I have already mentioned, she uses the Republic of Khakassia as a case study. I have two questions to the academic degree seeker. Is it possible to use the model for the assessment of insurance risks in other regions of Russia? Are there any limitations? The second question. The overall goal and objectives of the dissertation do not include an overview of the regional insurance markets of other countries. Are you planning to continue research in this area? Are you planning to study regional insurance markets of other countries? I would like to emphasize that these questions do not change the overall assessment, the overall positive assessment of the dissertation. The dissertation is very well written. It's complete research. I believe that the dissertation by Evgenia Prokopjeva, Regional Insurance Market and its Impact on the Socio-Economic Development of the Region, complies with the major requirements set forth in the relevant order of St. Petersburg State University. And Evgenia Prokopjeva can be awarded the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences, scientific specialty, 08000010. The dissertation is compliant with sections 9 and 11 of the above-mentioned order. Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you very much. I have proposed a model in my dissertation. I believe that this model can be applied to other regions as well, but with some limitations. It can be used for the regions which have a similar structure of the economy. In this case, we will not have to change this model or revise this model. When it comes to more faraway regions or regions with a different economic structure, the model will need revision. For example, we will have to include different other aspects and different other criteria in the model. And I would like to say that Circassia is very similar to regions which are nearby, namely with other Siberian regions. These regions have similar geographical conditions and have similar life standards and production sector. However, I would like to emphasize that the models in general can be used and can be applied to study the insurance markets of other regions. Now I would like to answer your second question about the research of regional insurance markets of other countries. The structure of the dissertation includes only the research of the Russian regional insurance market. However, I have published a number of papers where I study regional insurance markets of other countries. And my dissertation includes only some aspects of this research, namely when it comes to providing guidelines. I draw upon the experience, I draw upon the practices implemented in those countries which are similar to Russia in some aspects. But I believe that the research of regional markets of other countries should be continued. Are you satisfied with the answers? Yes, I'm fully satisfied. Now I give the floor to Professor Alexander Tsyganov. The floor is yours. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to read out my report here. I have asked you already about the school of thought. The academic degree seeker was quite at a loss when she was answering this question, but this is okay. I'm not going to reiterate what my colleagues have talked about, and moreover, my report is published on the official website of St. Petersburg State University. I would like to say that similar research is relevant for Russia. We realize that insurance markets in major cities is more developed than in other regions. I believe there is an insurance market in Abakan, but the situation would be different 100 kilometers from Abakan. Moreover, I would like to say that it is necessary to develop the infrastructure that would regulate the losses in different regions of Russia, and insurance companies realize that this is quite a risky adventure. Therefore, we see the influx of foreign capital on the Russian market, and they realize that they need to work both on the markets of major city and on the markets of smaller areas. So the dissertation is relevant. I believe that it is well written. Moreover, it is important to assess the development, or rather the link between the insurance market and the regional development. So my overall assessment of the dissertation is positive. However, I also have some critical remarks. I believe that each research paper has some drawbacks, and I would like to discuss some critical remarks right now. My colleagues have already mentioned that probably Circassia is not the best choice for the case study. I would like to say that there's a concept of 4 Russias. It was proposed by Professor Zubarevich from Moscow State University. And this concept reflects the real situation. It shows that there's Russia of Moscow and St. Petersburg, there's a Russia of middle-sized cities, there's a rural Russia, and there's faraway Russia, which includes a cultural aspect as well. So if we draw upon the concept of 4 Russias, then we can see that the concept proposed by the academic degree seeker can be used for some regions of Russia. And I believe that this was written in the dissertation, but she did not focus on this issue. She did not provide explanations of her choice. I suppose she should have provided more detailed information, or rather she should have provided more detailed explanation of her choice. So this is a drawback, but I suppose it could be eliminated if the academic degree seeker explained her choice. I suppose that the dissertation should focus on general issues. The academic degree seeker has talked about different types of areas where the regional insurance market is disproportionately developed. Number 3, over the past 2 years, we have seen the real estate insurance in Russia, which is different from what we had before. and the academic degree seeker doesn't really focus on such programs. And I suppose she should have focused on this area as well. So this part which is omitted in the dissertation, but it does not mean that it is a big drawback in the dissertation. My next question is about the issues in insurance. Today we have a unified regulation for the insurance market. So I believe that you should have talked about some regional features of the insurance market, and also have a technical remark. I believe that maybe the academic degree seeker wasn't quite attentive here. She suggests creating a self-regulating company of insurance brokers. I have participated in the meeting of a self-regulating organization, and I am ordered to be in the board of directors of this self-regulating organization. So the similar self-regulation organization exists. So I believe that you should probably have provided some commentaries here. Maybe there's a way to improve the existing self-regulating organization. However, my overall positive assessment of the dissertation is positive. I will be voting for conferring the academic degree. The dissertation is about a very topical issue. Ms. Prokopjeva has identified a number of important issues in her dissertation, and she has identified areas for further development. So the dissertation complies with the major requirements set forth in the relevant order. And I suppose that the academic degree seeker can be awarded the academic degree of the candidate of economic sciences. Thank you. Thank you very much. I give the floor to the academic degree seeker. Thank you very much for your interesting remarks. I chose Khakassia for my case study. I believe that Khakassia is a strategically important region of Russia. Khakassia has many mineral deposits. Some mineral deposits are quite rare. Khakassia also has the most important hydroelectro station. It also has many important industries. At the same time, Khakassia is a mono region in that it has only one production sector. So I believe that Khakassia is a region which can be used as an example. I have analyzed the disproportionate development of the insurance market in my dissertation. I have studied this issue from different angles, and I believe that many regions have such disproportions. So I suppose that Khakassia can be used as an example. But I thank you for your recommendation, and in my further research, I'm planning to change my approach, and I'm planning to identify groups of regions. In my dissertation, I used the division according to the districts, according to the federal districts, but I suppose I can identify different groups in the future research. The next critical remark was about the disproportionate insurance market. So I suppose that we need the emergence of new insurance companies. We need to optimize the pricing for insurance services. We also need to provide incentives for insurance investment. Yes, you have talked also about the real estate insurance. I have written a number of papers on this issue. There was a major fire in Khakassia in 2015, and after that event, it became obvious that we should provide incentives for real estate insurance. But unfortunately, the situation in Khakassia has not changed. Practical guidelines for real estate insurance have not been developed. But insurers are trying to attract investment. They go from door to door, from house to house, in order to attract investment, in order to make incentives for individuals to buy real estate insurance, but it is not really effective. I would like also to say that in my dissertation I provide recommendations for benefits which can be used for real estate insurance. I have also write about different preventive measures, namely joint preventive measures between the insurance companies and other actors. So the dissertation touches upon this issue as well. The next critical remark was about the licensing of regional insurance companies. I would agree with this critical remark. I provide only one recommendation here regarding this issue. But I do not provide substantial rationale here, and I am planning to develop this issue in my further research. Thank you. Professor Tsiganov, are you satisfied with the answers to your questions? In general, I am satisfied. However, I do not quite agree with the choice of Khakassia, but it's okay. I would like to give the floor to Professor Yanova. The floor is yours. Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Dear colleagues, my colleagues have talked at length about the dissertation, so I am not going to reiterate what has already been said. In my report for the dissertation, written by Evgenia Prokopjeva. I write about different positive aspects of the dissertation, and I would like to focus on the most important ideas. The topic of the dissertation is relevant. Evgenia Prokopjeva focuses on a really important dissertation. It is important in two ways. Regional insurance market is part of the regional economy, and it is also part of the national insurance market. Unfortunately, in most regions, the regional insurance market is not part of the economy, and it is only part of the national insurance market. And in many regions, there is no regional insurance market whatsoever. And I like that the academic degree seeker try to find a solution. She wants to show that the regional insurance market is necessary, and she explains why. I would like to say a few words about the credibility of the research findings. I would like to say that the dissertation provides an in-depth analysis. The academic degree seeker draws upon a number of credible resources. She uses different types of sources, including journals, monographs, information resources, statistical data, and so on. The dissertation also has a practical and theoretical novelty. And here I would like to focus on the most relevant research findings, those which really have scientific novelty. First of all, I would like to say that the academic degree seeker has developed a concept. This concept can be used in order to assess the main indicators of the regional insurance market, which have an impact on the regional development on the one hand, and on the development of the national insurance market on the other hand. And this is the underlying concept of the dissertation. This concept allowed the academic degree seeker to provide specific recommendations and to provide an algorithm in order to assess this mutual influence. The academic degree seeker also provides a typology, a classification of different regions. My colleagues have talked about it as well. So we see a classification of different regions here, and she has used a number of criteria to develop this typology. And the academic degree seeker proposes a new idea, but unfortunately I'm not sure that it is feasible. Unfortunately, I would like to say that there is a national insurance market, but there's almost no regional insurance market.
Наверное, надо технический перерыв, да? Да, объявление.
Dear colleagues, we have technical break number 1.
Светлана Юрьевна, сейчас у нас немножечко...
Что-то пропало, да?
Technical break number 1. Please continue. You're given the floor. I'm really sorry for the technical issue. I would like to be brief. I would like to say that the influencing factors have an important impact on the regional insurance market. And the academic degree seeker makes an overall assessment of the national insurance market. And she identifies 2 groups of factors: incentives and deterrence. These factors are important at different levels. And I would like to say that I find this idea interesting and important. There's some kind of stratification here. I have already mentioned that the topic of the dissertation is relevant from 2 points of view. The regional insurance market is connected with the national economy, or rather with the regional economy and with the national insurance market. And as a result, we see 2 groups of factors which are described in the dissertation. I also would like to say that the academic degree seeker provides mathematical models and statistical data which gives credibility to her research findings. I would like to read out my critical remark. I believe that the academic degree seeker talks about the insurance potential, and I do not quite agree with her view on the insurance potential here, on the insurance investment potential. Investment potential and insurance potential are not one and the same thing, and unfortunately regional insurers have investment which is not in demand. Now I would like to read out my critical remarks. The first critical remark is about how the academic degree seeker groups the factors of regional development, namely the regional insurance market development. I suppose that this part of the dissertation is not detailed enough, and I hope that in the future the academic degree seeker will provide a more detailed list of such factors. So I I suppose that investment, or rather insurance market, is important for the national insurance and for the regional economy. So what specific instruments do you propose here? And I also have another remark here. The insurance market is an important structural element of the financial market. One of my colleagues have talked about this issue. I also believe that you do not provide enough information about this aspect. You do not talk about such institutions as banks or unit funds or in different other institutions. I hope that you will talk in more detail about this issue in your future research. I suppose financial mediators are critical for the insurance market. In general, the dissertation by Evgenia Prokopjeva, Regional Insurance Market and its Impact on the Socio-Economic Development of the Region, comply with the major requirements set forth in the relevant order issued by St. Petersburg State University. And I suppose that Evgenia Prokopjeva can be awarded the academic degree of the candidate, or rather of the Doctor of Economic Sciences. The research paper is very interesting. Thank you. I give the floor to the academic degree seeker. You asked me about how I grouped the factors. Yes, I suppose that the groups are quite big, and I would like to agree with the member of the Dissertation Council. You asked me about the importance of the investment activities and about the specific tools to activate investment activities. I suppose we should use tax benefits and different measures that allow us to make investment into different economic sectors of the region. Subsidized types of insurance also play an important role here, such as real estate insurance and agricultural insurance. I also believe that real estate insurance is a large area here because it includes construction area as well. And we need to increase financial awareness of individuals. Many individuals know very little about insurance. I would like to say that your last remark is very interesting. It's about cooperation, it's about partnerships between insurance and banks. I would like to say that there are different financial mediators in our region, but mostly they are represented by banks and smaller financial mediators provide loans to insolvent individuals. These smaller financial mediators cooperate mostly with banks and not with insurance companies. That's why I disregarded this issue. And thank you very much for your critical remark. I will focus on it in my future research. Are you satisfied with the answer to your questions? Yes, thank you very much. I believe that it was quite difficult for you to write your research paper. The region you are describing is quite a complex one, but generally your work is very interesting. I would like to read out the report written by Professor Evgenia or by Professor Sergei Belozerov. It has been published on the official website. I would like to focus on the critical remarks. So this is the report on the dissertation written by Professor Sergei Belozerov. The dissertation is submitted in conformity with the requirements for the degree of the Doctor of Candidate of Economic Sciences. The dissertation is relevant, the research findings are relevant and credible. The report focuses on the practical and on the theoretical importance of the dissertation. Professor Belozerov also focuses on the novelty of the research. The research findings are important for different areas of the economy and of the insurance market. And you can read the report on the website of St. Petersburg State University. I would like to read out the main critical remarks. Critical remark number 1. The academic degree seeker writes the following statement: the insurance market is part of the financial infrastructure and it depends on the economy, on the GDP and on the real earnings. And I agree with this statement. However, the academic degree seeker states that it is more difficult to ensure the financial security of the financial sector, and I would like you to provide rationale here. The classification of the regions is an important research finding here, but I believe that you need to provide the explanation for the criteria that you chose. The academic degree seeker writes about the correlation coefficients, and she talks about the overall factor which can be applied for the majority of regions in Russia. I would like you to clarify this point here. When this indicator is specific, when is this indicator region specific, and when is this factor applied for the majority of regions? The academic degree seeker talks about the in-depth analysis of the regional insurance market, and please explain why you chose Khakassia for the case study. There are different measures which promote the development of the insurance market in Khakassia, and one of them include the transfer of regulating functions to the regions. Could you please elaborate on this point? What do you think about the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the regional insurance markets? However, I would like to say that my overall positive assessment is not changed by the critical remarks and the questions that I have. And I would like to say that the dissertation by Evgenia Prokopjeva complies with the major requirements set forth in the relevant order issued by St. Petersburg State University. And I believe that Evgenia Prokopjeva can be awarded the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences. The specialty is 080010, Finance, Money, Circulation and Credit. The report is written by Professor Sergei Belozerov. I give the floor to the academic degree seeker. I would like to say that it is more difficult to provide sustainability for the insurance market. When it comes to the economy, the situation there is different. Economic stability discourages the development of the insurance market. Therefore, we have two reverse trends here. Moreover, there is a temporal lag here when it comes to signing a contract. The insurance portfolio may include standard risks, and later on we can see that other risks should be covered. We shouldn't forget about long-term contracts as well. Changes in the financial situation have an impact on the actions of individuals and acts as a deterrent in this case. The second question was about the classification of the regions. I have already answered this question, so I would like to be brief here. The classification allows us to provide the rationale for the concept that I described in my dissertation. The next question was about the correlation coefficients. I made a comparison between the regional factors and socio-economic indicators correlating to these factors. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the slide. The correlation coefficient 0 point and higher can be used as a universal indicator and can be applied to different regions. And in my dissertation, I include the universal factors here. If the correlation coefficient is lower than 0.9, then this indicator can be used for specific regions. However, if the correlation coefficient is lower than 0.7, then probably this correlation coefficient is not significant, or maybe it is important for a specific region. I'm not going to talk about Khakassia because I have provided an answer to this question already. He also asks me about the transfers of controlling functions. I suppose I mean here the regulation of the investment activity, regulation of the insurance market, regulation of the pricing in the voluntary insurance. When I was writing my dissertation, COVID-19 pandemic did not have a significant impact on the insurance markets, so I did not write about it in my dissertation. I suppose that this is, however, an important factor, and it requires specific research. I suppose we should identify risks here connected with the COVID-19, take into account these risks, and develop an insurance program taking into account this factor. Thank you very much. Now I would like to read out my own report. Since we are short of time, I would like to say very briefly that the dissertation is relevant, and this is a very complex issue due to regional disproportions, and you have explained why you chose this specific region. I would like to focus on the critical remarks. In my report, I talk about the relevance of the dissertation. I would like to say that the academic degree seeker has collected a lot of data regarding the topic of the dissertation, and this is very valuable information. I hope she will use it in her further research. The significance and the novelty of the dissertation is beyond any doubt. After reading the dissertation, I would like to say that this is a complete research. She provides in-depth analysis and very detailed analysis. However, I have some critical remarks which I would like to read out. What do you mean when you write about effective impact? You do not provide your own definition of effective impact. Moreover, the algorithm that you provide is also connected with the effective impact. So I would like you to give a more detailed explanation of this concept. What's the difference between the effective functioning and effective impact? Is there a difference between these terms? My colleagues have talked about the two-level regulation of the insurance market. Do you think this is relevant for the region of Khakassia? Our technical break number 2.
Технический перерыв номер 2 объявляется...
Technical break number 2 is over. I have mentioned a two-level system of regulating. I would like to ask you if it is relevant for the Republic of Khakassia, or there are no regional insurance companies in Khakassia. There are only branches of other insurance companies in Khakassia. It's not a critical remark, it's a question for debate. I would like to ask the academic degree seeker what she means by effectively working regional insurance market. You use the word effective very often in the research, so I would like you to provide your explanation of this term. I would like to ask the academic degree seeker the following question. In your research, you talk about correlation coefficients. And you use the market of the Russian Federation when you develop this indicator. In this regard, you do not focus on the difference between the regions of the Russian Federation. I suppose this would be relevant for the dissertation. However, I would like to say that these critical remarks do not change the overall positive assessment of the dissertation, and the dissertation by Evgenia Prokopjeva complies with the major requirement set forth in the relevant order issued by St. Petersburg State University. And I suppose that Evgenia Prokopjeva can be awarded the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences. The dissertation is compliant with Section 11 of the above-mentioned order. The report on the dissertation is signed by Professor Zhanna Pisarenko. Thank you very much for your report. The effective impact is regarded as the increase of the economic potential in the region if the increase of the insurance indicators do not change the economic situation in the region, then we believe that in this case the insurance market is not effective. You asked me about the algorithms which provide effective impact. Unfortunately, I was unable to provide a detailed explanation of the term effective. However, I have written a number of papers on this issue. So the term can be used at a micro level and at a macro level. When it comes to the insurance, I believe that the term effective can be applied here as well. And here the term effective includes different aspects and different angles. So I believe that effective functioning is a broader notion here, and effective impact involves the comparative analysis of different indicators. There are no own insurance companies in Khakassia. Only 30 regions of Russia have their own insurance companies, and believe that this is a problem. There have been proposals to create local insurance companies in Khakassia. I suppose that this issue needs further investigation and research. And we probably should undertake different actions and different measures in order to promote the development of local insurance companies in the Republic of Khakassia. You also asked me about the effectively working insurance market. In this regard, the term effective is used in terms of the market mechanism. So market indicators are relevant here. And different ranking models allow us to assess the efficiency of the market. Your last critical remark was about the coefficient correlation. I suppose that I do not focus on the differences between the regions. However, I use different other models to this end. That would be all. Thank you very much for your answers. I suppose that you can focus on some of the issues in your future research. I hope you will focus on different regions of Russia. So, all the members of the Decision Council are satisfied with the answers. I'm also satisfied with the answers. Now, the next item on our agenda. Does anybody want to make a presentation or to say something? Please don't forget to give us your full name. No more than 2 minutes. My name is Professor Kuznetsova. I'm professor of the Department of Risks Monitoring and Insurance. I would like to be brief here. I have read this dissertation and I have written a review when we were discussing it at our department, and I also a member of the expert group which made a decision about the possibility of the defense procedure. The academic degree seeker has been working for 5 years on this dissertation. And this is the result of her hard work. This dissertation demonstrates an interdisciplinary approach. It deals with the economic theory. It deals with the theory of industry markets. We all know that an insurance market is an industry market. And we shouldn't forget about the aspect of control here. I would like also to say that the dissertation makes an important contribution to the theory of insurance, to regional studies, and to the theory of spatial economy. I would like to say that I do not quite agree with one member of the Dissertation Council. I hope this is okay. You talked about the concept of 4 Russias. As far as I know, the professor that developed this concept has recently said that she is not working with this concept anymore. Moreover, the concept of 4 Russias was developed by a social geographer. However, I believe that the academic degree seeker uses other concepts which are more relevant for her dissertation. Namely, she uses the concept of the world of the economy. And I believe that Russia has its own type of development and its own type of economic growth. And I suppose that the concept of the world of economy is more relevant for the dissertation. Professor Zubarevich, who developed the concept of 4 Russias, also talked about the cyclic development of the Russian economy. And I believe she was not the first here. For example, Professor Rizanov also talks about this issue. So I suppose that we should draw upon different concepts here. And we should draw upon the works of different scholars, including economists and social geographers. But in general, I would like to say that Evgenia Prokopjeva should be awarded the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences. Scientific specialty, finance, money circulation, and credit. Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? So have we received any questions via email? No questions? I would like to participate in the discussion. I would like to say that this discussion is very interesting, and I talked about one concept only, and there are other concepts as well here, so different approaches are possible here. I would like to reiterate that you should have explained why you chose Khakassia as a case study. That was the reason why I drew upon the concept of 4 Russias. Now I give the floor to the scientific consultant, Professor Galina Chernova. Please talk about the academic degree seek and about her dissertation. Dear members of the Dissertation Council, I would like to say a few words about the academic degree seeker. I have known Evgenia Prokopjeva for many years. We have been working very closely over the past 5 years. I believe that Professor Prokopjeva is a serious scientist, and she's also a person of integrity. In the dissertation, she writes about the probable positive impact of the regional insurance market on the regional economy. And she has provided rationale for her concept. She writes about the concept itself. She writes about the possible impact of the regional insurance market on the regional economic development. Secondly, she developed an algorithm which would allow to create this positive impact on the regional economic development. In this regard, she has identified the factors which encourage the development of the regional insurance market. She also has developed a classification of the factors, namely she includes the deterrents and the incentives. And she also identifies controllable and uncontrollable factors. The academic degree seeker also writes about some other important issues. She writes about the insurance market and the regional economy. And in this regard, I would like to say that the academic degree seeker explains why it is important to have a two-level control of the insurance market. She also develops a regional typology of Russian regions. This typology is relevant for the objectives of the dissertation. The academic degree seeker also makes her own assessment of the regional insurance market. And I would like to say that she makes a comparative analysis between the regional development and the regional insurance market. And finally, she also writes about the contribution of her research into the theoretical framework. And here I would like to emphasize that the academic degree seeker writes about the insurance market portfolio, which takes into account the regional risks. And she also develops a ranking model which takes into account the impact of the regional insurance market on the region. I suppose that all these research findings are really important. In general, I would like to say that this dissertation has a theoretical and practical significance and complies with the major requirements for such papers, and I hope you will vote in favor of conferring the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences. Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Are there any remarks? I would like to say that I find this defense procedure really interesting. I would like to say that the members of the Dissertation Council talked about critical remarks and objections. However, I suppose that there's a difference between critical remarks and objections. Sometimes the Dissertation Council also provided ideas for future research. And I suppose that it is up to the author of the dissertation what to write about, what topics to include into her dissertation. I would like to say that my overall assessment of the dissertation is really high. Thank you very much for your remarks. Are there any questions or comments? Does anybody want to say anything about the dissertation? So this is the end of the academic discussion. I would like to ask the members of the Dissertation Council, and I would like to ask the academic degree seeker as well. Do you have any questions about the procedure? And do you have any questions or remarks about the remote participation? Professor Ivanov, do you have any remarks? No. Professor Tsiganov, do you have any remarks? No. Professor Yanova, do you have any remarks? No. Professor Saxonova, do you have any remarks? I don't have any remarks. I don't have any remarks as well. Do you have any remarks? No, I don't. No. Let us continue with the agenda. We can have a technical break to discuss the results of the defense procedure. Do you think it is necessary? Dear colleagues, what do you think? Do we need a technical break? I don't need a technical break. I don't think we need a technical break. We don't need a technical break, okay? So, thank you very much. We don't need a technical break. Let us move on with the agenda. I will be asking each member of the Dissertation Council to voice their opinion. So it is 5:33 p.m. Moscow time. Dear colleagues, let us make sure that we can hear each other, that we can see each other.
Видим и слышим. Ставлю вопрос о присуждении.
We're beginning the open voting on the issue of conferring the academic degree to Evgenia Prokopjeva, scientific specialty 0800010, finance, money, circulation, credit. I would like to emphasize that when you vote for, you agree that Section 4 of the order on the procedure of granting academic degree at St. Petersburg State University has not been violated. This section says that the dissertation should contain all the references to the relevant resources which are used in the dissertation. Let me remind you that the decision of the Dissertation Council on conferring the academic degree is positive, provided more than 50% of the Council members have voted in favor, in conformity with Section 23 of the order. So, Professor Ivanov, what's your opinion? I vote for conferring the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences. Professor Tsiganov, what's your opinion? I would like to say that I vote for conferring the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences. Thank you. Professor Yanova, what's your opinion? I vote for conferring the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences. Professor Saxonova, what do you think? I vote for conferring the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences. I am Professor Zhanna Pisarenko, the chairperson of the Dissertation Council, and I also vote for conferring the academic degree. Now, the results are as follows. Dear colleagues, dear members of the Dissertation Council, dear guests, out of 5 members of the Dissertation Council, 5 members have voted for conferring the academic degree. Nobody has voted against or abstained from voting. So we confer the academic degree of the Doctor of Economic Sciences, Scientific Specialty 08-00010, Finance, Money, Circulation, Credit. We would like to congratulate you, and I give you 2 minutes for your final presentation. Dear colleagues, dear members of the Dissertation Council, thank you for reading my dissertation. Thank you for your efforts, and thank you for your recommendations. Now I have a feeling that my work has already started, and there's so much I would like to write about in the future. I really appreciate your contribution. I would like to thank those who sent external reviews to my dissertation. It's very important for me that my work was interesting. I would like to thank Professor Chernova, my scientific consultant. She has been working with me for many years. And I would like to thank the Department of Risk Control and Insurance. And I would like to thank all the colleagues. Thank you for the interesting academic discussion. I would like to thank the department for the management of dissertation. I would like to thank Larisa Khrushcheva. I would like to say that the procedure is very interesting. Everything is well organized. It was a pleasure to work with you. Should you need my help, should I be of any help to the university, please contact me. Thank you very much. Let us congratulate the academic degree seeker. So this is the end of the session. Thank you. Please switch off the broadcast.